Hello, welcome and good evening to all. SM Masum Billah, welcoming you to Shopno Dakhe, Bangladesh. This is a weekly program hosted by Empowerment Through Law of the Common People Elkop. We run this program on each Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. As you all know that Empowerment Through Law of the Common People is a non-profit, non-political research organization, and we work on empowerment of the people, human rights, democracy, and many more things. We are holding this talk on each Tuesday in order to understand the human rights, democracy, and other situation that we're currently facing in Bangladesh. Now, this evening, we have got an esteemed guest from the European delegation. Let me welcome Paolo Casaca, Honorable Executive Director of Less Means More, a sustainable development organization. Casaca, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, Dr. Mansour Billah. Thank you so much. Yes, I am director of the South Asia Democratic Forum. Less Means More was one of the projects I have been more.
Thank you so very much for being connected this evening. I know that you were visiting Bangladesh and you have a very busy schedule, and we thank you for your time that you have agreed to talk to us for a while. And for the audience, I need to inform them that Mr. Paolo Casaca was also the a founder of South Asian Debate Forum, was a member of European Union Parliament from 1999 to 2009. Now, Casaca, you were visiting Bangladesh, and would you please share some of your thoughts and experiences you have got so far while visiting Dhaka?
Well, it is always a pleasure to come back to Dhaka. I have been coming to Bangladesh and most of the time to Dhaka, although I've been out in Chittagong Mule Tracks, Cox's Bazar, the refugee camps before. Of course, that whenever a foreigner comes again to Dhaka, I mean, the most impressive thing is how things are changing. That's quite obvious. I remember the first time I came to Dhaka, it was 2012. I mean, there were no flyovers.
So is this your second visit to Dhaka?
No, I think I came perhaps 4 or 5 times. I'm not sure how many. I mean, the last time was in 2018, but before that I was in 2012, 2013, and most likely 2 other times as well. I've been a lot of times to Dhaka in a lot of initiatives. I've been accompanying the developments, well, some of them, as I was saying, you cannot stop from seeing that the city is completely different in terms of infrastructure. Of course, the traffic jams are still there.
Apart from traffic jam, how have been your experience so far?
Exactly, but I mean, even the composition of the traffic, things are evolving, are developing. That's very good. A lot of things are really improving. Even for instance, the number of mosquitoes is much less now than I did experience in the past, and I'm very glad to see that Bangladesh is developing, that it is combating poverty, that it becomes within South Asia the front runner in nearly all the economic and social indicators. Bangladesh is now the #1 or #2 after the Maldives, and the Maldives is a small archipelago of some 100,000 people. Cannot be compared with I mean, the big league of the big countries of like Bangladesh, Pakistan, India,
right.
These really the big ones. So I am very glad that Bangladesh is doing much better. I speak with people. Some of the people, of course, want more and better, and I think this is very good because this is how a country develops, and this is how a country can go forward. And a lot of people want better and complained of A, 1, B, and C. So far, so good. No, the most important issue is for democracy to improve, to consolidate, to know the respect for human life, the respect for minorities, the equality to improve, that going in the good direction. That's the most important.
So, Paul, tell me, is there any particular change that have drawn your attention in comparison to the last time you visited Bangladesh? What change actually have attracted your attention this time much more than the previous time?
Yeah, I think that for a visitor, it's really this. I mean, I went to the new bridge by an expressway that was actually comparable to what you can see in Europe. And although you have to pay and you have to pay for Bangladesh, first I suppose it's an important sum. But these sort of things, I think they are very important, and I am very glad that you are doing this. This is the most obvious important thing. There are otherwise there are this atmosphere of the political contest. I think it remains as a very important thing, and that's polarization in itself is not bad. It's good that we have a society that is moving, and that there are people think one way, people thinking the other way. So far, so good. But this shall be done, within some limits. And of course, some of the things that impressed me more negatively in the past. I mean, I remember in 2013 when I visited the hospital of Dhaka, and I went to the division where the burnt people were being treated. It was absolutely terrible because I saw perhaps certainly more than 100 people. Some of them did not have proper place in the infirmary. They were in the corridors, very, very injured. And I saw children, and I saw women, and I saw humble people, bus drivers, for instance. Just a normal worker, and he suffered out of this violence, this political orchestrated violence that has been plaguing the political life in Bangladesh, especially before elections, sometimes after the elections, as we just saw.
In this context, Paul, in this context, I would like to add one thing. According to your opinion, what are the challenges of a developing democracy like Bangladesh, particularly when it comes to election, holding a free, fair, and neutral election? I'm sure that it is not only the challenges for Bangladesh, but also a challenge for other developing jurisdictions elsewhere in the world. So, according to your opinion, what are the challenges of the developing democracies like Bangladesh in order to continue the trend of democracy, to uphold the spirit of democracy, etc.?
Well, there must be freedom of expression. It's fundamental freedom of expression. Of course, that one has to be careful to make a distinction between freedom of expression and orchestrated campaign to promote violence and mayhem. And this is sometimes not obvious And this is a challenge for the legislator to understand how to make the difference, but this difference has to be done. Because obviously, if you create under this in South Asia in general, it's not only Bangladesh. I mean, we just see it on a daily basis. Well, either in India, but most of the cases are known are in Pakistan. That you create a narrative out of nothing, sometimes invented, out of things that really did not occur at all. Oh, whoever banned the Quran, but actually no one banned the Quran. I mean, there was just someone cleaning, illiterate that was cleaning a floor and some papers and thought it was garbage, and actually some of the pages were not garbage, but there was no intention. And then there is there is a campaign to promote violence, to lynch this person, then to burn the houses of the community, and then it never stops, And so there must be some limitation. And of course, this is not easy to see how to do it. And I think that we do have the same problem in Europe. Of course, fortunately, not the sort of thing. I mean, I don't know of this sort of campaigns to mob lynching people in our days, although we do know that this happens to us. So this is a process that is not simple, and I understand that the government makes legislation and then sees how it goes, how it is applied, corrects. That's a challenge. Free demonstration of the people, of course, it's fundamental in a democracy that people.
Now, I have got another question for you. I need to intervene at this point. Paul, you have been a member of the European Union. You are also a famous politician of your own country, Portugal. Now, look at Bangladesh and South Asia from a broader sense, right? From a broader perspective. Important international relationship is important. While it is also important to maintain a country's own sovereignty, political integrity, right? So Bangladesh is approaching an election soon. And heading up that election, the interest of the international community has increased much more than before. We have seen this American, foreign policy or Bangladeshi strategy. They have introduced a new visa policy that they will not allow visa for people, engaging in electoral violence on rigging election, etc. Then again, there is the later to European Union, some overseas citizens of Bangladesh have written to the members of the European Union to intervene in Bangladesh affair. My question to you that to what extent European Union, for that purpose, America or other international community can intervene into the internal political affairs of a country? If so, to what extent?
Yes, one has to obviously respect the integrity and the sovereignty of Bangladesh, and I think that this is very important. But more than that, one has to be consistent, and I think that humanity does exist, and as such, and that it makes sense for the Western community to be concerned with what happens out of the Western community. And I think that the Bangladesh authorities, I didn't actually receive in the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs, and I think the Bangladesh authorities are very open to a cooperation. But of course, if this cooperation, if this interference is really a toxic interference, if is bound not to support the dialogue, the understanding on the basis, of course, of the existing constitution framework, and solutions that will conduct to peaceful choice of leaders and policies, but are actually giving incentives to violence, because that's what it is. I mean, I was appalled to see violent demonstrations that burned several vehicles, and this was very well documented, and to have seen this violence being shown as something that was freedom of expression, and that it should be somehow encouraged. That's exactly the opposite of what I think we should be doing. We should be saying, well, there are going to be elections. Of course, that 6 months before to make a revolution in the constitution, well, just does not make any sense. Nowhere in the world. Well, someone wants to have a system that exists only in one country, Pakistan, and really with the very, very negative results, we have to say.
Right.
And the constitution has to be changed to implement this. I mean, I don't think it's reasonable, and no one should encourage this sort of position. People should encourage the position of saying, well, you have grievances. You say that you are not able to express yourself, that there are pressures, that the electoral process is not going in a fair way, or the counting of votes and so on. Okay, well, let's go to the table. Let's see the problems. Let's see if we can help in a dialogue. And if we can continue to see Bangladesh to be the star of the subcontinent, to even get more open than it is, and to get in a better situation. Well, not to turn Bangladesh into a new Afghanistan.
Right.
This is the fundamental issue. I mean, United States promoted the takeover of the Taliban 2 years ago. I mean, this is a fact. This was one of the biggest disasters ever happening to democracy. And this was done by the same administration that is now pursuing a policy that seems not to have understood what has to be done. And this is concerning. And it's very concerning that the European Union is not understanding that it cannot go this way. That things like what happened in Afghanistan should be really prevented as much as possible.
Sure, cannot agree more. As a citizen of this country, no one wants to see a country in a devastating situation. Paul, I have got another question for you. Now, look, we talk about human rights, and it has its global dimension. I'm sure that human rights has its own politics as well, because sometimes we see Human Rights Watch International, Amnesty International, and the like organizations also speaks about human rights of a particular country. For example, the countries like Bangladesh. Do you think that there is a politics of human rights as well as there is a politics of awarding sanction, quote and unquote?
Well, you see, the human rights are a very good principle, but we have to ensure that human rights are not really false arguments to implement commercial or other political interests. That's very important, to be sure that those who argue for human rights are sincere. And if those who are arguing for human rights, well, are exactly those who promoted the takeover of Afghanistan by the Taliban, and the same organizations, and the same fundings, and the same logic, well, the least we can say is that we have to suspect about the intentions of who are of those people.
Sure. I have got another question for you. that I'm not sure that whether you are aware about the Bangladesh constitutional position regarding our ensuing election. Now, the constitution of Bangladesh have discarded this, caretaker government model. Do you think that this model is prevailing elsewhere in the world? What is your view regarding this? Do you find the demand of the caretaker system a unique one, or to what extent, do you support this model, or the election should take place at the Westminster model, the way it takes place in the other part of the globe? What is your opinion regarding this?
Well, you see, this is a model that exists only, to my knowledge, only in one country, which is Pakistan. And its results, we are having parallel electoral processes in Bangladesh and Pakistan. And Pakistan has announced, although things did not develop yet, that it will have a caretaker government.
So except Pakistan, is there any country where this caretaker government model is followed?
My knowledge, no, I never heard of it. So, I mean, okay, it's exceptional. By itself being exceptional, it's not, nothing that that says that you have to do it. Okay, but the problem is not only theoretical, is that in practical terms, this system in Pakistan has shown to be a way for the so-called deep states, namely military institutions, to control the result of the elections. So it's not democratic at all. And that's the result, not the theory. I mean, we're not speaking about. I understand that, and that's exactly what I was expecting. That you would have an opposition that would say, "Oh yes, but a month before the elections, 2 months." Maybe this is exactly what we can discuss. The government is the existing government will continue, but with limited powers, cannot do this, that, and that, and can only do this, that. That's exactly what happens in most of the countries I know. I mean, my own, for instance, that's the way it is. And we can discuss. I mean, how much time, for instance, can it make inaugurations of new projects or not? This is the thing that I think it's reasonable to discuss, to improve if there is any problem on this, but to say, well, we do not go to the elections if a sort of system that is very unique to Pakistan, that actually it's, as the Constitutional Court has disapproved, will be implemented. And I think this makes no sense.
Right.
I understand this.
Thank you for your answer. I'm running short of my time. I think I'm at the end of our discussion, but one last very brief remark from you. What is your suggestion for Bangladesh for the future time, if you say it in a sentence or two?
Well, I think my most important suggestion is to please preserve peace, non-violence, dialogue. Yes, everyone is entitled to have different ideas. Yes, ones are more conservative, others are less conservative, ones are more green, less green, whatever. It's the richness of democracy is based on this. Fantastic. Continue, do it, but do it peacefully. And think of the future. Think of the children of Bangladesh. Think of how to have a country that will be better for them. You'll have better opportunities, better living conditions, better environment, better.
Thank you.
living.
Thank you. Thank you, Paolo, for your wonderful words and for your suggestions towards the journey of a better Bangladesh. Dear audience, I was talking with Paolo Kasaka, Honorable Executive Director, Less Means More, and the former member of the European Parliament. He was exchanging his views with Elkop and about the current political developments as well as situation in Bangladesh. So we extend our heartiest felicitations and gratitude to you, Paolo, for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.